Call the meeting to order. We got a quorum. And, we have to approve the minutes of the August 18th, 2011.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
No, opposed, ordered. Now we've got to nominate and elect a chairman for a one-year term.
I think we could keep him all the time. Is that permissible?
We have a motion.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second that motion.
Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? If not,
Who's the vice chairman?
motion to elect a chairman for one-year term, Tom Walsh. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. Motion to nominate and elect a vice chairman for a one-year term.
Who's our vice chairman? Who's the vice chairman?
Deb Edwards.
She's not here.
Is there any nomination?
I think Earl has been to all the classes. We went to the last classes. I'll nominate Earl Garvin Jr.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
We need a second to that
I
nomination.
second
second.
that motion.
Got a second. Any other nominations? If not, we'll move the motion be carried. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 So ordered.
And Miss Edwards cannot be
Congratulations.
here tonight because
as
her
well.
son is in a play. So she is with her child tonight. Yes. Yes.
New business? Annual report?
Okay, I will read over the annual report as quickly as I possibly can. This is a new requirement of our permit that the annual report to the state has to be read out at a public meeting. So please bear with me as I read
Oh,
over
the
this.
public's here.
Huh? Yes, our public. Our one loyal public citizen that comes every year. Okay, so, small municipal separate storm sewer system annual report. City of Laverne, contact person is myself, Katie Klein. Mailing address 5175 Murfreesboro Road, Laverne, Tennessee 37086. Our current population is 32,588. This reporting year is from July 1, 2011 to June 30th of 2012. Protection of state or federally listed species. Are there any discharges in the discharge-related activities likely to jeopardize any state or federally listed species? No. Please attach determination of effect of MS4 discharges on state or federally listed species or subpart. That does not apply. Water quality priorities. Does your MS4 discharge waters listed as impaired on the state 303D list? Yes. Those are East branch of Hurricane Creek. It is impaired for habitat loss due to alteration of streamside or littoral vegetative cover, loss of biological integrity due to siltation. And yes, there is a improved TMDL on that, and that is a total maximum daily load. The west branch of Hurricane Creek is impaired for nutrients, so that is phosphorus and excess nutrients, and loss of biological integrity due to siltation. And yes, there's also an approved TMDL on that. Hurricane Creek is also impaired for nutrients, loss of biological integrity due to siltation, and E. coli. And yes, there is an approved TMDL on that. And okay. What specific sources of these pollutants of concern are you targeting? Sediment, E. coli, and nutrients. Do you have any discharges into any exceptional waters of or outstanding national resource waters? No. 'Cause we don't have Are you implementing additional or specific provisions to ensure the continued integrity of the ETWs or ONRWSs? And no, because we don't have any. Public education and public participation. Is your public education program targeting specific pollutants and sources of those pollutants? Yes. If yes, are those specific causes of sources of pollutants addressed by your public education program? And that is sediment, household pollutants such as oil, pet waste, and fertilizers. Please note successful outcomes fully and partially attributed to your public education program during the reporting period. After going through some public education events, children are teaching their parents how to become more cautious about water and non-point source pollutions around their home. And this is information I gathered from people that attended my booth at Old Timers Festival. Do you have an advisory committee or other board comprised of the public or stakeholders that provides regular input to your stormwater program? Yes. Provide a summary of all public meetings required by the permit. Stormwater Advisory and Appeals Board meeting was held on August 19th, 2011. At this meeting, members were brought up to speed on things that have been going on in the past year in the Stormwater Department. Recommendations were made to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for changes to the Stormwater Ordinance to bring it into compliance with the Construction General Permit. A recommendation was also made for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to adopt an enforcement response plan. Codes, ordinances, review, and update. Is a completed copy of your EPA scorecard included with this report? And yes, it will be. It is over here. Include a status and implementation code or an ordinance policy provisions associated with this permanent stormwater management. Changes were made to the stormwater ordinance to bring it into compliance with Construction General Permit. Construction. Do you have an ordinance or adopted policy stipulating erosion and sediment control requirements? Yes. Other construction waste control requirements? Yes. Requirements to submit construction plans for review? Yes. MS4 enforcement authority? Yes. How many active construction sites were disturbed of at least 1 acre in your jurisdiction during this reporting period? 18. How many of these sites did you inspect during this reporting period? 18. On average, how many times each or with what frequency were these sites inspected? And they're inspected monthly. Do you prioritize certain construction sites for more frequent inspections? No. Illicit discharge detection and elimination. Have you completed a map of your outfalls and receiving waters of your stormwater system? Yes. Have you completed a map of your storm drain pipes and storm sewer system? No. How many outfalls have been identified? 75. Of these outfalls, how many were screened for dry weather discharges? 78. And how many of these have been screened more than once? 0. What is your frequency for screening illicit discharges? Annually. Do you have an ordinance that effectively prohibits illicit discharges? Yes. During this reporting period, how many illicit discharges, illegal connections have you discovered or have been reported to you? 3. Of those illicit discharges, illegal connections that have been discovered or reported, how many have been eliminated? 3. Stormwater management and municipal operations. Have stormwater pollution prevention plans or equivalent plan been developed for all parks, ball fields, and other recreational facilities? No. All municipal turf grass landscape management activities? No. All vehicle fueling operations and maintenance facilities? Yes. Municipal maintenance yards? Yes. Municipal waste handling and disposal areas? Yes. Are stormwater inspections conducted on these facilities? Yes. If yes, what facilities or what frequency are the inspections conducted? Quarterly. Have standard operating procedures or BMPs been developed for all MS4 field activities? Examples, road repairs, catch basin cleanings, landscape management, etc. No. Do you have a prioritization system for storm sewer system and BMP inspections? No. On average, how frequently are catch basins or other inline treatment systems inspected? We do not have an inspection program, but we are working on starting one. On average, how frequently are catch basins and other inline treatment systems cleaned out or maintained? They are cleaned out on an as-needed basis. Do municipal employees or all relevant positions and departments receive comprehensive training on stormwater? Yes. If yes, do you provide regular updates and refreshers? Yes. If so, what frequency and under what circumstances? Annually. Permanent stormwater controls. Do you have an ordinance or other mechanism to require site plans review on all new and redevelopment projects? Yes. Maintenance of stormwater management controls? No. Retrofitting of existing BMPs with green infrastructure BMPs? No. What is the threshold for new and redevelopment stormwater review plan? Example, all projects disturbing greater than 1 acre. Projects disturbing more than 1 acre and projects that are in critical areas, such as near streams. Have you implemented or enforced performance standards for permanent stormwater controls? Yes. Do these performance standards go beyond the requirement found in paragraph 4.2.5.2 and require that pre-development hydrology be met for volumes? No. For flow volumes, no. For peak discharge rates, no. Discharge frequency, no. And flow duration, no. Please provide a URL reference where all permanent stormwater management standards can be found. And it lists the URL. How many development and redevelopment projects were reviewed for this reporting period? 7. How many development and redevelopment project plans were approved? 7. How many permanent stormwater management practices and facilities were inspected? 0. How many of those were found to have inadequate maintenance? 0. Of those, how many were notified of remedies within 30 days? 0. How many enforcement actions were taken to address inadequate maintenance? 0. Do you have any electronic controls, i.e. GIS database or spreadsheet to track post-construction BMPs, inspections, and maintenance? Yes. Do all municipal departments and or staff as relevant have access to this tracking system? Yes. Has the MS4 developed a program to allow for incentive standards and redeveloped sites? No. How many maintenance agreements is the MS4 approved during this reporting period? 0. Identify which of the following types of enforcement actions that you have used during this reporting period. Indicate the number of actions and the minimum measures. Notice of violations for construction activity were 0. Were 2. Permanent stormwater controls, 0. Illicit discharge, 0. Do we have authority? Yes. Administrative fines, 0. Stop work orders, 1 for construction, 0 for permanent controls, 0 for illicit discharge. Yes, we have the authority. Civil penalties issued, 0. Criminal actions, 0. Administrative orders, 0. Do you have an electronic tool, i.e. database, GIS spreadsheet for tracking locations, inspection results, and enforcement action in your jurisdiction? Yes. What are the 3 most common types of violations documented during this reporting period? Not maintaining BMPs and unpermitted land disturbance activities. Program resources. What was your annual expenditures to implement the requirements of your MS4 NPDES permit and stormwater municipal plan this last reporting period? $600,000. What is next year's budget for implementing these requirements of your MS4 NPDES permit? $625,000. Do you have an independent financial mechanism for your stormwater program? Yes. If so, what is it and are they? Stormwater fees, and what is your annual revenue derived from this mechanism? The source is the stormwater utility fee, and the amount is $1,115,000. How many full-time employees does your municipality devote to stormwater programs, specifically implementing the stormwater program versus municipal employees? The primary function dovetail other stormwater issues? 4. Do you share program implementation responsibilities with any other entities? Yes. The City of Smyrna Public Education. Our oversight, and we have quarterly meetings, and the cost of the program is shared based on population, and that is also with the town of Smyrna and Rutherford County. Evaluating measures in progress. What indicators do you use to evaluate your overall effectiveness of the stormwater management program? How long have you been tracking them and what frequency? Note that these are not measurable goals and individual BMPs or tasks, but large-scale, long-term metrics for overall programs such as in-stream microinvertebrate indicates the measure of effectiveness of impervious cover, indicators of in-stream hydrologic stability. And what we have tested was E. coli in 2010, and that is done every 5 years, and 2 locations were tested. Provide a summary of data collected in order to evaluate the performance of permanent stormwater controls installed throughout the system. This evaluation may include a comparison of current and past permanent stormwater control practices. Sampling was conducted of Finch Branch in accordance with the monitoring plan put in place with the TMDL. Stormwater Management Program Update. Describe any changes to your MS4 program during the reporting period, including but not limited to changes adding but not subtracting or replacing components, controls, or other requirements per paragraph 4.4.2.a of the permit. No changes were made. Changes to replace the ineffective or unfeasible BMPs per paragraph 4.4.2.b of the permit. No changes were made. Information on the program areas expansion based on the annexation of newly urbanized areas. Not applicable. Changes to the program as required by the division. None were made. And certification to this report must be signed by the ranking official or by a duly authorized representative of that person. And it has been signed, and I am done with that nice, lovely book report.
Page 5,
Yes.
you say E. coli, it doesn't have a frequency.
It's per the monitoring plan that's been approved by TDEC.
Any questions on the report?
I know I went through that quickly, but
Good job. All right, do we have to receive that?
Huh?
Do we have to receive it?
Do we have to,
Do we vote on accepting it?
do we have to
no.
vote on?
No.
It just has to be read.
Okay. We reviewed the annual report. Next item is stormwater program. Katie?
Okay. Okay. As this is the second year of our MS4 permit, we have the 6 minimum measures still. As I went through in the annual report, they are public education and outreach, public participation and involvement, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site runoff control program, post-construction and permanent stormwater runoff control, and pollution prevention and good housekeeping. To meet some of these requirements, we held a community cleanup day on March 10th. We had an employee cleanup that week before to kind of lead up to it and get everybody in the mood. We removed trash along Hurricane Creek, and we had about 50 participants from various organizations. As you can see, this is some of the trash that we had picked up. There's just random bottles, there's outdoor furniture cushions, just a lot of garbage. Some pictures of the employee cleanup. We did fill up our small dump of trash, tires, so forth. We had representatives from the library, Public Works, City Hall. It was definitely a successful event, and I hope we can get more participation from the city next year. The community cleanup event day, pictures from that. I personally, I think, carried about 3 tires off this lake shore. Got a little bit muddy, but we had a good time. On the public education, we did I participated in the 100th anniversary Girl Scout celebration that was at MTSU. It had Girl Scouts from all over Rutherford County. At this presentation, or at the booth, there were representatives from the town of Smyrna, TDEC, Groundwater, and also, I don't remember, there were some other people from TDEC that had different critters and stuff so that people could see what's in the streams. It was a very successful event. We had the erosion demo and also just a storm drain model showing different things. I got very well received. One of the organizers of the event came to my booth at Old Timers Festival this past weekend, and she just raved about it again, wants to know when she can have something that we can come back. So, a successful event. A sampling of our completed projects. The Stormwater Department helped out with the greenway over in the Farmingdale subdivision to help reduce some of the costs from the city. We installed the head wall for the parking places, and also did some ditch work over there to take some of that work up from the contract. And I think they did a pretty good job from when out there a couple weeks ago, and it still looks pretty good. Along Carruthers Road, we did some ditch work there. This was trying to alleviate some of the problem of water coming across the road there from some flooding complaints and so forth. On Zellwood, this ditch line back that is now all riprap was pretty much holding water. So we dug it out, cleaned out a lot of the vegetation, and then put the riprap there, so hopefully that will stabilize the soil and not be a problem for those people anymore. And we also pretty much destroyed their yard because it was the middle of June, I believe, and so we also had to do some work there. It was hot and dry. On Stone Ridge Parkway, we cleaned out the ditches along Stone Ridge Parkway, also to alleviate some problems of water coming down the road and just get it to the creek as quickly and easily as possible. On Tal Lane, this was actually a couple of different things that we did. On the bottom corner, you can see the head wall where we extended that head wall up to make it a little bit larger in hopes that that water will go through that pipe and no longer jump over the head wall and come through that homeowner's yard. We cleaned out all the storm sewer pipes along Tal, and then at the bottom, as it approaches Stones River, cleaned out that ditch line and added a head wall to that pipe, and then rip-wrapped so that the water can make that turn a little bit easier. Along Tom Haley, this project actually started off as a small hole under a sidewalk. When we removed the sidewalk, we found plywood as a lid to a catch basin box, and to make this work, we had to reconstruct the box completely, tear out the sidewalk, and now we also have a manhole lid in the sidewalk so that if we ever need access to clean out that catch basin, we have easy access without having to destroy the sidewalk again. And that is all I have. Yes.
About these stormwater drains.
Yes.
And the importance of keeping those out. If you go all over this city, people are throwing their lawn shavings when they mow, and you've got piles on the side of the road that are that high, when it's going into those stormwater drains.
And that is actually some of the cause of the excess nutrients and some of the reason that the streams are impaired.
So is there any legal thing that we can do about, I mean, now everybody, when you're weed eating.
Right.
I know there's not a lot you can't, I'm not talking about, but I'm talking about when we had all this rain and people went to mowing, we had hay fields, stacks of hay on the side of these roads where it was so thick.
I mean, legally, no, there's not really a whole lot we can do about that because we can't say that, you know. I'm trying to educate people on that. That is one thing that I was doing at my booth at Old Timers Festival, is saying keep those grass clippings in your yard, mulch them. That takes care of a third of your fertilizing needs for the year. And then it also, if you put them in the storm drain like that, then that does cause the excess nutrients and algae blooms, which then deplete the oxygen in the water for the fish to survive. So it's really best you keep them in your grass and mulch it as best as possible, and that's one of the things we're trying to do with our public education program.
Any questions on the stormwater program? Okay, thank you very much. Well done.
I have a statement to make. We had to have a new septic
Culvert?
tank put in. Okay, and now we've got dirt and rocks and straw. But with this rain coming in, some of that straw went into the creek. So, there's nothing I can do about it? I mean,
I
really?
mean, if it's in the creek, there's not, I mean, it's already there. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
I didn't know there was something else I
I
could do
mean, you
before
could
it
try to
rained.
do some of the erosion control measures to try to stop that from going into the creek, beforehand. Probably one of the easier things you could have done is the straw tubing or something like that, which there is right now out on Cheney on the sidewalk project right there. That would have, it's a pretty easy thing to just, you lay it out, stake it in, and you can get that, I think, at maybe Turner Seed or someplace like that, somewhat locally.
Okay.
Any other questions? Next item is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
So ordered. Thank you very much.